Welcome to Sincerely Me, a podcast about self-discovery and inner work so you can cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and show up more fully in your work and life. My name is Tallia and I'm honored to be your host. Hi everyone, welcome back to Sincerely Me. This week's episode is about protecting your energy, and I shared about this on Instagram last week, and a whole bunch of you said you were super into the topic. So here we are. Welcome. Thank you for your feedback. I'm excited that you're just as into this topic as I am. So I'm going to break this down into a couple simple steps. I do want to keep this episode short as well, since I know most of my episodes have been around 45 minutes to an hour, and that's a lot of time to ask of you. So let's keep this short, let's keep this sweet, let's keep this simple. Number one, in order to protect your energy, there is one essential component that lays the foundation for everything else that I'm going to discuss today, and that is to slow down. If you want to protect your energy, you have to step off of the merry-go-round and evaluate where your energy is going, intentionally or not so intentionally, what you want to be protecting your energy from because it's sucking the life out of you or bringing negativity into your space. So again, it's slowing down and creating space just for some awareness to come in around where your energy is going, and again, what you want to protect it from. If you can't answer those questions, it's going to be hard to put any of these practices into action for yourself. And slowing down can look a lot of different ways, right? For some of you, that might mean once a week you go to an hour-long yoga class and just take that time to unplug, reflect, be with yourself, sit with yourself, do what you need to shut the world out for a little bit. For some of you, that might mean, moving through your day-to-day just a little bit more mindfully. So instead of rushing through your morning routine, taking a shower, grabbing breakfast out the door, you allow yourself a little bit more time to just move more slowly through your day-to-day motions. The next one is just as critical as slowing down, but it's setting the intention. Simply setting the intention to protect your energy, 90% of the work is just there. If you can put out into the world that this is something that you desire and something that you're prioritizing and valuing for yourself, I promise you it's going to be that much more conscious for you throughout your day, and the awareness will be there if and when you meet energies that you don't want to be a part of your own, that you don't want to take on as your own, that you don't want to be affected by. Just setting that intention at the start of your day subconsciously, it's the seed that you're planting, and you'll be a little bit more conscious, aware, and intentional throughout your day over the choices you make and what you give power to, what you give your attention to, what you give permission to, and what you're allowing for. So the first one was slowing down and creating space just to become more aware of your own energetic field, of your own bubble, of what's getting in the way, of what's bringing your light down, of what's not serving you the way you want it to be. Step number 2, setting the intention and just being more conscious moving through your day-to-day that this is something you want to do, that you want to protect your energy. So that can look a lot of different ways as well. For some people, that can look like a mantra. So waking up in the morning, or a prayer, or, expressing gratitude. It can look a lot of different ways. Setting the intention to protect your energy from anything that doesn't serve your highest good, to protect your energy from anything that doesn't bring you joy, to protect your energy from anything that doesn't serve your growth, that doesn't add value to your life. And you can, obviously fill in the blank the way you see fit, but setting that intention, creating a mantra, and reminding yourself of it will also be very powerful in your efforts to protect your own energy. The third one can also look a lot of different ways, but it's to create a positive force around you. And that's the goal here, is to literally create like a shield around you. Not to say you're shielding yourself off from everything in the world around you. It's permeable. Things can come through the shield that you're creating, but that's the whole point, is that you decide what comes into that shield. You decide what comes into your bubble, and it's no longer weak, right? You're strengthening this force field around you. So one way to do this in your day-to-day, whether it's when you set your intention in the morning or, whatever way you decide works best for you, it's to express appreciation. And I do think of appreciation a bit differently than gratitude. Fundamentally, it's pretty much the same. So it's expressing gratitude for things you're thankful for. But I think of appreciation as the opposite of depreciation. And one of my friends, shared this with me, and I can't remember who. It might have been Jason. So if it was you, anyone who's listening, and I'm not giving you credit, I'm so sorry. I really want to. I just can't remember who told me this. Anyway, so when you think about something that depreciates, it goes down in value. When something is appreciated, value is being added to that thing. You're asking for more of it, and you're opening yourself up for more of that to come into your life. So whether it's appreciation or gratitude, giving yourself some time to sit in all of the feels, all the good feels that come with feeling thankful, joy, love, that fills the bubble. And when that fills the bubble, there's less room for other things to come into the bubble. And that's the goal here, is to create a bubble that's consciously created, that's intentionally designed, and that is thoughtfully crafted so that you decide what comes in and what goes out. So we got slowing down and creating space. We got setting the intention. And then we got creating a positive force through showing appreciation or expressing gratitude. Now, the next list of things I'm going to walk through, it's a list of questions to ask yourself when you are in this intention of protecting your energy and you're starting to feel some things creep in, or you've admittedly taken on someone else's negative energy and you feel sucked down and sucked into their black hole or whatever it is. There are a couple of things to ask yourself. So if it's manifesting in some sort of anxiety or frustration or just general stress, the first question to ask yourself is, who does this energy belong to? If you are an anxious empath, as I have learned to call myself, like me, a lot of times when I'm energetically feeling off, I've taken on, whether consciously or not, someone else's shit. I've taken on someone else's stress, someone else's frustration, someone else's insecurity, whether it's because I want to help them or not. I don't really know. We can dig into the why behind this if you all would like in some other episode. But that's the first question, is who does it belong to? If I'm trying to protect my own energy, I have to be able to decipher and distinguish between energies and who it's connected to. More often than not, a lot of what we take on is not our own. A lot of what we feel is not our own. So, question number 1, who does it belong to? Now, the next 2 questions, my friend Christiana offered to me when I was going through some stuff in my own life. And she looked at me and she said, what if you didn't let this frustration and this stress get bigger? What if you just saw the circumstance as it was, observed this other energy as it was, and didn't expand on it, didn't let it get bigger, didn't let it come into your force field? What would happen then? And her follow-up question to that was, again, this circumstance, this negativity, this energy coming from outside of you, what does it change for you? What does it change in your own life? More often than not, it changes nothing. Circumstances, situations outside of you that may feel hurtful or harmful, again, you have that choice. You're the one who attaches thought and judgment to the things that happen outside of you. So just simply ask yourself, what if I didn't make this bigger than it was? What if I didn't expand upon it? What if it didn't take over my mind? And hey, this also changes nothing. This has nothing to do with me. It changes nothing about how I'm going to move forward throughout my day. And let's leave it at that. The other question to ask yourself when, again, you're feeling pulled down, weighed down by other people's energies, ask yourself what you're getting from pulling yourself down with them. And that might not make sense until I explain it this way. So if you thought about a scale of 1 to 10, your own energy on your best day, at your highest good, when nothing was in the way, no stress, no negativity, you at your best, 1 to 10, what number would you be at? 10 being the highest. Probably 8, 9, 10, safe to assume. Now, if you think about someone else or a circumstance or a situation in your life that's just frustrating, negative, something that's bringing you down, if you had to assign a number value to that thing or that person, what number would you assign to them? So the assumption there being that it's probably a lower number than yours, right? 2, 3. I don't know what situation you're thinking about specifically because I also don't know who's listening, but hey, the point that I'm trying to make here is that this then creates a gap. You're at an 8, 9, 10, something else in your life is at a 2 or a 3, and suddenly you feel like you have to meet that situation or meet that person where they're at. So you go from 10 to 2 and immediately dim your light for the sake of the other person. Maybe it's because you think you're being helpful. Maybe it's because you think that's what a good person or a good friend does. But the reality is that by decreasing your light and pulling yourself down to their level, what's happening is you're also robbing them of the opportunity to increase their light. If you were to stay at your 10, that just encourages them and shows them what could be possible outside of their own reality. By staying at 10, there's still a gap, right, between 2 and 10, but why go down if they can come up? And if that feels insurmountable or if that feels like too much of a challenge with whatever situation you're thinking about, maybe instead of coming down from 10 to 2, you're meeting in the middle somewhere around 6. So they're coming up 4, you're coming down 4, and it feels a little more fair and balanced instead of you giving everything away. Again, and maybe some very unconscious or subconscious ways, this is now bringing more awareness to what you're giving permission to how much of your light you're giving up, and again, to why you're giving it up in the first place, challenging the assumption that you have to give it up to be helpful. And that reminds me of the Marianne Williamson quote, it's our own light that we're most afraid of. Hopefully this provides you with a little bit of a push or just some encouragement to not dim your light anymore, to stay shining as bright as you are, as cheesy as this sounds, my goodness. But by doing that, you're just creating space for other people to level up. And that's something that people need, people would appreciate, people are looking for, whether or not they know it. So short and sweet and simple. Hopefully those were some good starting points to help you start protecting your energy. If you've been taking me up on writing letters to yourself from every episode, the letter I would encourage you to write for this week's episode is to your present self about some commitment you're making to protecting your energy. It doesn't have to be about a specific person or a thing. It totally can be, but it's more about affirming what you deserve, affirming your right to protect your own energy, creating some boundaries, and just setting some, expectations, clarifying some intentions for yourself, and maybe laying out in this letter to yourself what you want to allow in your bubble and what you want to keep out of your bubble. So if you do that and want to share it with us, please send any and all letters to sincerelymepodcast@gmail.com. If you are into the idea, I would also love to share one of your letters on the podcast. I did so on last week's episode, and that was super fun. So always down to share a letter or two on the episodes on the podcast here. And lastly, just another reminder that you can still add your name to the waitlist to get notified when applications open for the inaugural Inner Work Circle that will be launching in August. Applications will be going out in June. And if you're just hearing about this for the first time now, the Inner Work Circle is a year-long program for women who are ready to turn inward, dig deep, and start cultivating relationships with themselves. It's very much focused on self-development, spiritual growth, and inner work. It's monthly virtual sessions as a group, and then twice in the year we meet for in-person weekend-long retreats. More info is available on my website at talliadeljou.com. And if you want to join the waitlist, just head over to talliadeljou.com/waitlist. If there's someone who you know, friend, family, who would benefit from learning how to protect their energy, the first person who comes to mind for you, be sure to share this episode with them and let them know you're thinking about them. The more of us who can learn how to do this stuff for ourselves, the more we can teach other people about it, and the happier we'll all be, right? That's the dream. So thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe, rate, review, you know the drill, and I will catch you on next week's episode. Sincerely, me.